for joining me on today's episode of Lead with Clarity. My name is Funkeola Onipeku, and if you're new on this channel, every Friday we answer questions submitted to us in the course of the week. You can leadershiplens@gmail.com or scan the barcode on your screen or simply follow the link in the comment section to submit your questions. Today's question is from Dan. Dan says, "Hi Funke, when should I fire an employee?" Firing an employee is one of the major decisions you will have to take at different stages of your leadership journey. Hopefully, at the early stage of your career, you learn how to hire an effective employee and you don't have to do it quite often. But this is one of the decisions that you may need to take at any point in time. Studies show that most employers delay firing an employee, and this will be for different reasons. Some want to be in the good book. They care so much. They don't want that employee to lose their source of living, so they tend to give them more time, hoping and believing that they can improve. Some employers also don't want to face the difficult conversation. They just want to avoid conflict as much as possible, so they don't talk about firing an employee. They just tend to get along with them. Some employers also think that it doesn't really matter, or it's not really affecting their productivity, especially not immediately. And maybe they are not even doing that thing within the organization, they only do it outside. So it's not necessarily affecting their day-to-day activity. The truth is, other employees see it, they know that it actually matters and it's affecting them. And at the initial stage, you are not the problem. The employee that is not effective is the problem. But over time, you become the problem because you are not able to make the right decision at the right time. Some employer too will delay firing an employee because this employee is very productive. They are very active, they are skillful and knowledgeable. But for whatever reason, they know that they lack the character or the true values that they represent in the organization. But because you believe that once this employee leaves, your productivity will decline. Or some leader says they represent a very, very significant person in our team. We can't let them go because nobody can do their job. First, no employee in the organization should be the absolute person to perform a task. Even you should be able to train your team members to do things that you do so that in case you are not available, they can do it. So no employee at all should have the singular right to be or access or ability to do a tangible skill in the organization. In case you are in that position, start teaching your other team members the basic skills and responsibility required to get things done. To answer Dan's question today, I want to tell us what a competent employee looks like. For an employee to be competent and effective, competence is divided into three aspects. They must be knowledgeable, they must be skillful, and they must be of good character. They must know what to do, they must be able to do it, and they must be able to do it in a way that shows the values that your organization represents or the brand that you are trying to build. Using the traffic light system, there is either red, yellow, or green. Red means fire now, yellow means assess, and green means retain. When should you fire an employee? When an employee has all of the competence, skills, knowledge, and character, you retain them. That's the green light. When they have two of the qualities, for example, they have character, at no point in time should you have an employee that doesn't have the character or the behavior that represent the value of your organization. Because you are not just selling products and services, you are interacting with individuals. So your character, your behavior represents the culture you are building in your organization. And trust me, people don't just buy what we sell, they buy why we sell them, which is our nature, our character, and our behavior. So in case they have character and they are lacking either skills or knowledge, and you want to keep them, the best thing to do is to assess them. You need to address it. You need to call this employee and assess what is going on. First, you need to state clearly what the problem is. No beating around the bush. You need to be able to state clearly what the problem is. Assess why. Some employees don't know their responsibility. They know to turn to work 8 to 5 p.m. They know to hang around. They even know to attend to customers. but there are specific expectations of them that they don't understand. Sometimes this is because we have different learning abilities. Some people pick instruction the very first time you tell them. Others you need to show them. Some other people you need to write it down. And for every one of us, the repetition improve learning. So sometimes they need to be instructions need to be repeated more often. And this could be the reason why this employee is not performing. So identify the specific reason why this employee is not performing as expected. Once it's been identified, give them the opportunity to express it, to show that they understand what the problem is. The next thing you should do is to empower them. You need to give them tools to improve. Do they need training? Do they need somebody they can work it with the organization? Do they need specific instruction? Do you need to place some standard of practice in your organization somewhere? Do you need to rewrite your SOPs? What exactly do you need to do to help this employee to cover out for the knowledge or the skills that they are lacking? And when you're doing this, you need to define the time frame, the goals to achieve, which is measurable. So I say give them up to 8 to 12 weeks, maximum of 12 weeks. By that time, you should be able to determine if they definitely need to stay or they need to go. And don't leave them throughout the 8 weeks without telling them how they are improving or what they still need to work on. So frequently check on them and assess where they are, what is improving and what needs to be improved on. The employee you should fire immediately is the employee that lacks character, an employee that lacks integrity, and employees whose morals and value are directly opposite to the value of the brand that you are building. They shouldn't be given a second chance. They should be fired immediately. It doesn't matter how productive they are. It doesn't matter how significant you think that team member is to your organization. All it takes is one simple step, and whatever you have built over years will be destroyed by this person with bad character. For example, they cut corners. They don't have integrity, or they're on drugs, they have addictions, or some bad characters that have just failed to improve over time. Fire them now. The only time you should keep this type of employee if your organization is designed to rehabilitate people. For example, you run a rehabilitation organization where your clients are people who need to be rehabilitated. Fine. At that point, you can retain them. Then you know to convert them from being an employee to a client. The thing you can do to help this employee is to direct them to where they can be rehabilitated, provided they are willing and ready, and even support them in their rehabilitation process. Maybe pay for therapy, pay for rehabilitation process, but at no point in time should you overlook these things and retain them because they are productive. Productivity, skills, and knowledge can be destroyed with bad character in a twinkle of an eye. You are putting in a lot of effort in your organization, and I'm sure you don't want any of this to crumble. The best way to do it is not to overlook things that are happening in your organization. Take the decision. Over time, the decision you make or the decision you don't make will determine what happens to your organization in the future. And if you are building a business that is made to last, the earlier, the better. I hope you have answered your question. I really don't know where this employee is, but please, if they are on the red light, please fire them immediately. So much for joining us. Until I come your way next week, my name is Funkeola Onipekun. Don't forget to send in your questions to leadershiplens@gmail.com. Look for the link in the comments section or simply scan the barcode on your screen. Thank you for joining us this week, and I'll see you.